Hi everyone, welcome to Cheltenham Chart, episode 7, and loads to go through on the first 2 days at Leopardstown, the 2-day meeting at Kempton, one race at Limerick. I did previews for Boxing Day on the 27th with Gary Sibbs before Christmas, and I did one for today and tomorrow with Gary last night, and they're both on Gary's YouTube channel now. So getting straight into the review because there's so much to talk about. Shan Blue at Kempton starting off, jumped them ragged. Will he stay up the hill in a 3-mile RSA? I'm not sure if he will. That would be a question mark. The Skeltons have a big decision to make. I'll make a bold statement now and say that if he went to the Marsh, he'd give Envoy a race. I really believe that his jumping can keep him in any race. He's forced the big breakaway into mistakes in the Cato Star. I think any race he runs in, he'll stay in because of his jumping. I'm not convinced he'll stay in an RSA. I'd run him in the Marsh and give it a go. I know Envoy's unbeaten, but for me, Shan Blue should go to the Marsh and give it a go. And I think he will seriously put it up to Envoy. That's my own opinion. And obviously the opinions in here are not going to be agreed upon by everybody that watches, but my opinion is that Shan Blue would put it up to Envoy in the Marsh. With that jumping, he's going to put a lot of horses under pressure. The Christmas hurdle looked to me to be a bit of a walkover. It's a race that if people have been putting a horse into accumulators, they're going to got their fingers burnt here. And it was a bit of a surprise to see Epatante beaten. Obviously, Silver Streak's connections are in good form, and Evan Williams is in good form. He was unlucky in the International. He's gone from the front, which was a bit of a shock, and he's forced her into mistakes. She's still a rightful favourite for the Champion Hurdle, but she's had some limitations exposed here. And connections such as Honeysuckle will see this as maybe the sort of like green light to go for the Champion Hurdle, because Honeysuckle can go from the front like this and she stays 2 mile 4, and she could just go hard and try and put Epatante under pressure. My own feeling was that Epatante would love going faster and that would just make her even harder to beat, but like I say, she was exposed in this race and it was quite a surprise to me. But we'll see more tomorrow when the Irish challengers come out. I think it will encourage the likes of Honeysuckle and Concertista to maybe give it a go. And if Epatante had won this easily, she may well have scared horses away, whereas I think they've all got the green light to go and give it a challenge now, which probably isn't to the liking of JP Nicky, but yeah, disappointing performance from her, but Silver Streak deserves a lot of credit for the win. The King George, Throwdown was given an easy lead, and when you do that with Throwdown, you run the risk of him getting into a rhythm and then quickening up. And that's what they've done, and they've given him an easy lead for 2 miles, and Bryony Frost's taken that easy lead and then quickened, and no one could go with him. I put up waiting patiently on the video each way, and I have to say I felt he was left a bit too much to do. In truth, it's a hard balancing act for a jockey on a horse that hasn't run for a year, you know, chasing a pace, but he's flown down the straight, absolutely flown down the straight, the fastest horse down the straight in the 2 days, I believe. But he's not been able to pick up Frodon because he's been left so far out of his ground. Of the others, I don't know what Nicky Henderson was thinking about running Santini in this race. He was never going to like Kempton, and that's twice now he's been run on tracks that he's going to hate. And hopefully it's just prep runs for the horse, but is it disappointing him to be running on these tracks and being beaten? Lost in translation, awful run from him. Cheltenham, similar. Second time both of them have disappointed at Kempton. Real Steel, probably he's a Ryanair horse. St Calvados ran well. But the horse to take out of it for me was Waiting Patiently, although most people are taking St Calvados out of the race. I would have taken Waiting Patiently out. At Leopardstown, Wide Receiver was won in a really quick time. He may have made his handicap run at Cheltenham a bit more difficult with this win, because he may get raised a bit more than they would have wanted to get raised. He's 10 seconds quicker than Zanahyr, but they clearly had a plan to try and get Zanahyr beaten by going slow rather than the last time when they went really quick. But it made no difference. Zanahyr just thrashed them again. He looks a high-class animal, and I was impressed with that performance. He'll take a lot of beating in the Triumph for me. The other horses at Leopardstown, sorry, I'm trying to watch my notes. I didn't really take a whole lot out of Leopardstown. The Felix Desjy race was a bit of a strange race. Blackpool fell early. I think he'd have probably won. Darver Star threw the race away. Franco Deport came through and won. He just sat off the pace and picked them off. And I don't think any of them that finished were going to really worry Shishkin, who was one of the Nicky Henderson horses who did make it a procession. So the Arkle picture now sort of looks very clear, with Shishkin at the top of the pile and nothing really looking like they're going to make much of a challenge unless a challenger appears. And I think that could be Black Bull, but he's fallen in this race and needs to get a clear round of jumping and a decent win behind him now. I missed the Limerick race. That was another race that was strange in a lot of ways. A steering furlonge, even long way out, was jumping really well, looking like he was going to win. For me, I thought he was going to win easily, and then he's just thrown in a bad jump, fallen. Then Pencil Full of Lead looked like he'd been gifted the race, and he's fallen in a hole, maybe because of the distance, and Colreevy's picked him up. Janadol's ran a shocker of a race, really, from considering how good I thought he was poor. And all in all, that was just a disappointing race. And I don't know where a lot of these horses go now, but Shishkin just appears to be way ahead in the Arkle pecking order at the moment. Like I say, I think Shan Blue can put it up to Envoy Allen, and we see later on if there's an RSA challenger to Monkfish, but at the moment he looks out on his own at the head of that market as well. On the 27th, the Desert Orchid they sussed out a way of beating Altior. It does appear so. It does appear that a flat out gallop doesn't suit Altior. Maybe it was the sharp track, but he finished very weary again, and I think this attacking rides on Surname and Duke de Geneva have put him under pressure on his first runs of the season. They have another horse who can do that in Politolog, and probably Dynamite Dollars as well, so it looks like Altior's not going to get easy runs over here in his preps, which Nicky likes. I don't know where to go Altior now. It wasn't that bad a run. Nubie Negra's come along and picked up the pieces. Is he as good as what he looked in that race, or did the race fall apart because Duke de Geneva went too quick? It's hard to say, but Nubie Negra looked really good. Even though he looked good, I can't have him for the champion chase. And of course, over on the other side of the water, we had the horse who, I think if he stays fit, is going to be the champion chaser this season. So at Leopardstown on the 27th, French Asile looked fabulous in the maiden hurdle won by Sir Eric a couple of years ago. I think a big owner's checkbook's going to come out for this one. It was an impressive performance. It was a maiden hurdle though, and he's got the likes of Zanahyr ahead of him, and he's going to need to be really good. Chacun won easily, enhanced his champion chase claims. There was nothing not to like. His jumping was a lot better this time than it was at Cork for me, and I just thought he ran away with this race. Notebook ran well in second, put the kettle on. Connections are wanting to go for the champion chase. For me, there's a lot of horses ahead of Put the Kettle On. In my pecking order, I would have Chacun, maybe not Notebook because he doesn't run well at Cheltenham, but I'd definitely have Altior, Politolog, Defi Dessau and Dynamite Dollars ahead of Put the Kettle On. I think Put the Kettle On's been well placed to win an Arkle and a Slur against like Fakir Dudiri and Duke de Genevra, but I think in the proper Grade 1 top level 2 mile chases she's not going to cut it for me, and I would have her in the mare's chase. But it seems like they're intent on the champion chase with her. I think the 20-1 quote is probably by Sky Bet, which is the biggest, is probably still too short for me. I would have her at 33-1 because she's been thrashed in this, and once you take the win part of the bet away, it's still only 6-1 for the place, and you've got all those horses who I've named who are probably better than her. So for me, she'd be better off in the mare's chase. Notebook, if could run into a place if he runs better at Cheltenham. He's had 2 blowouts there. The future champions looked a great race on paper. I took Kesk on risk each way, but I thought he'd run a lot better than he did. Appreciate it's absolutely bolted in, but he did this last year and he got done for speed. I wonder if there is a speed horse who can beat him over the supreme distance, because Fernie Hollow beat him last season, and I do wonder if something's going to pick him off in the supreme again. He could go for the Ballymorada Supreme. Bally Adams blown out, and with Fernie Hollow out injured, eventually confirmed, it does make you wonder why Sir Gerhard's running in bumpers, but it's a bit late now to start him doing anything else, so it looks like he'll continue down the bumper route. Like I said last week, he'll be a big danger to Kilcruit, but I'm sort of half hoping that Shively Park might have a rethink with Fernie Hollow out and Ballyadam looking like he's not good enough to win at Cheltenham. Certainly on this run he doesn't look good enough. The Royal Bond I was never convinced by his jumping in that. And when you look at the distance back to Angolo, it's pretty much similar to what it was yesterday. So is the form that good of that race? And you'd have to say that Ballyadam really is going to need to take a massive step forward from this. And I think this could be as good as he is. So all in all, out of the first 2 days at Leopardstown, Kempton and Limerick, I've taken Chacun out of that, as if he gets to the champion chase, he's going to be extremely hard to beat. Zanahyr did it a different way this time, looked fantastic. Shishkin doesn't appear to have much to beat in an Arkle unless something comes out the woodwork soon. I think Altior's having his frailties exposed, and at a fast run 2 mile race doesn't suit him. He's going to struggle to beat Chacun. I do wonder if that race last season finished him. And we've got a lot to look forward to over the next 2 days as well. Like I say, I did make a preview video. The horses I was most keen on that were Concertista for the mares tomorrow, Sharjah each way in the Matheson, because his ground is right, and taking a bit of a flyer there, Florian Porter in the Christmas hurdle today over 3 miles. He's a big outsider and he may be outclassed. I thought he had a chance. So that's all for me for Cheltenham Chat for this year. I'll be back next week with the first one for 2021, and hopefully we can have a good Cheltenham next season. I know that there's some controversial views in this video, especially that Shan Blue can put it up to Envoy Allen, but I do believe that. So, thanks for watching the videos over this year. Have a great Hogmanay. I'll be back to you next week. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.